You can apply to the.
Good morning and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us here for this for the
Yes.
April 15th, 2024 Monterey Salinas Transit Board meeting. And today's meeting has three ways of joining, and that is to join in person and here in the conference room, or to join via Zoom, and the meeting ID is on the agenda, or by telephone by dialing 1-669-968-33. And with that, I have a couple announcements. Anna Velasquez will not be here today, so I will be chairing the meeting in her absence. And also we have the Monterey representative, and his alternate will not be here. So with that, I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. And with that, the time is 10:04, and a roll call. We can move to roll call to now.
Okay, City of Carmel by the Sea.
Here.
City of Delray Oaks.
Here.
City of Gonzales.
Here.
City of Greenfield.
Here.
City of King.
Present.
City of Marina.
Here.
We've stated that City of Monterey is absent. City of Pacific Grove.
Here.
City of San City.
Here.
City of Salinas.
We're always here.
City of Seaside.
Here.
City of Soledad is absent today, and County of Monterey.
Present.
Thank you, and Madam Chair, you have
Okay.
that one.
Thank you, Jeanette. With that, will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and I would be honored if Director Emilio would lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, excuse me.
Thank you, Joe. And with that, I will ask Lisa to give us a review of the highlights on the agenda.
Thank you, Vice Chair and members of the board. I am here in Carl's place. He is in San Diego today at a SB 125 Transit Transformation Task Force meeting, fighting the good fight. So today on the consent agenda, you have an adoption of resolution, recognize MST Navigator volunteers in honor of National Volunteers Week. And I see we have some of them you'll want to recognize. We also have adoption of certifications and assurances for the low carbon transit operations projects. There's just under $1.5 million available to MST, and we're proposing to use it for a battery electric bus or more if we can get it, and hydrogen retrofit for South County facility. You also have a 5-year lease renewal for the offices at 201 Pearl Street. That's our bus stop shop where people can get bus information. We sell passes, and some of our mobility services are located at that location, as well as a well-deserved rest break for our drivers. Also, there is a contract for Brown Armstrong Accountancy Corporation for financial audit services for the next several years. And the regular items that you normally see on a consent agenda. In terms of the action items, we'll go over those later. Surf Busway and Bus Rapid Transit project, as well as the ad hoc nominating committee for next year's chair and vice chair, as well as an employer relations policy that our HR director will present. That's the highlights that I've identified for you.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. And with that, we'll go ahead and move on to the next item. And this is the public comments on matters not on the agenda. And at this time, members of the public may address the board on any matter related to the jurisdiction, but not on the MST agenda at this time. There is a 3-minute limit for per person per comment. So with that, I'll go ahead and open this up. Public comment is open. Yeah, okay, you have two on Zoom. Okay, I see two, the first one with the phone number 805-969 or 2837. If you would unmute yourself and.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Brian Rosen. Over the years, I've thoroughly enjoyed riding the MST buses. I'm really sorry to see that the bus no longer goes to Carmel Valley without having to make a transfer. It's become almost impossible, very inconvenient for people to have to transfer. And the bus to Big Sur, it discontinued, and the bus on Highway 68. I just want to mention that President Biden is providing a lot of funds for rail, and I think we need to take a can-do attitude. We can do it, and I would love to see MST operate some kind of rail system between, Marina and downtown, and hooking up with Santa Cruz and going into collaboration with the Santa Cruz Authority. I have to be careful about talking about the surf system, but I want to keep, because that's later on in the agenda and I don't want to be repetitive, but I may talk about an aspect that is not on the agenda later. But I would like to point out that if you have if we have a light rail system, the surf is only going to be about 4-5 miles off of highway streets. It's still almost an hour to get to Salinas to Monterey. I used to take that wonderful bus all the time in the day. And I think that we have a good rail system going. It would really we wouldn't have to worry much about the environmental. MST would do a wonderful job. We already have the track system laid down. I mean, the tracks obviously would have to be replaced. We know that, but the alignment is there, and it's the best alignment. And I think it would be a wonderful thing. Also, I have an idea to reduce emissions. In Santa Barbara, they have a wonderful system of bikes placed around town where you can take a bike and then you can take it and leave it off somewhere else. Why don't we coordinate with the MST buses to have such a system? We could have a rapid transit bikeway for electric bicycles without any impact, because we already have a bicycle way from Marina to Monterey. And there are already some electric bikes, but we could really instigate having more of them by having that wonderful bicycle program in coordination with MST buses, eliminating the need for transfers. You just jump onto an electric bicycle and then you leave it off at your next station. And we could evaluate the emission reduction could be fantastic. It's not just electric, but regular bicycles. But I would really love it if MST would work on that. And I guess that's my comment right here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment. And we'll go to the next person online with the last phone number ending with 1705.
Good morning, everyone. Lorna Moffett here. I want to say that the electric vehicle revolution, as we'll call it, is not green. It's going to cause nightmare mining of the oceans. The emissions from that, the destruction of the ocean, which is already happening widespread, we can't even begin to imagine. The only thing that's going to really save us is mass transit, and a mass transit system like they have in Singapore and other places, but not in the United States, where we want to use mass transit. And MST has gone so far against that, I suspect that the oil industry must be oiling someone's hand, because the planners are just crucifying MST ridership. And I myself, as you know, have been taking it for years and I can't anymore because it's just too time consuming and inconvenient and having to transfer here and there in the rain on all snow, not snow, but wind and everything else. So what you need to do is you need to, as board members, you have to get active and tell the planners they've got to do better. And you're not doing that. You're just ignoring people like me. Ed Smith, I've emailed you. You said you were going to meet with me. You've ignored me since then. Nothing gets done except an exorbitant surf project for, what is it, $89 million now? That could be going back into the inner city. And I was told that MST couldn't afford to replace and the line 24, they couldn't afford it. They were too poor, and yet it's going into this enormous project that is going to only save 11 minutes of time to a system that's already broken. So I'm urging you again, you have a very important role, and that is to bring usable mass transit to our city so we can eliminate the terrible effects of air pollution on our brains and causing Alzheimer's and dementia in our children and in our adults alike. So please get active and do something. Don't just sit there and keep voting for these bloated, useless projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment.
Mm.
And public comment is still open. This is a new number. No, okay. Can we hear from the phone number ending with 1705?
They just spoke.
Oh, they did. Okay, so they did speak. Okay. Okay, is there public comment is still open? And I'm not seeing anyone online. Public comment is still open. We have someone in the boardroom. Welcome.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that I hear often people say they wish we had the bus to San Jose, 55 or 84. And I have taken the new 59 one from Salinas to Gilroy a number of times and connected with the Caltrain to San Francisco. And it really has made possible a day trip to San Francisco, going up early in the morning and coming back in the afternoon. I wish, and other people would wish, that the 59 had some operation on weekends as well, because of the ability to get up to San Francisco that way or to the peninsula. So thank you.
Thank you. And may I have your name?
Oh, Dennis Lucy. I'm also a navigator. That's where I hear a lot of people saying that they wish we had the bus to San Jose, and I tell them about the bus to Gilroy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And is there anyone else for public comment? And not seeing anyone, we will go ahead and close public comment. And we will move on to the consent calendar. So the consent calendar consists of routine items which may be approved in a single motion. We have items 3.1 through 3.12. If there are any directors who would like to comment on any of those items. And not seeing any, we will open this up for public comment. Public comment is open on any of these items.
Move approval.
Okay, we have a motion for approval, a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Motion carries. We had Leho and Mike Labar. So we will go ahead and move on to action items, number 5, and we will go to 5.1, the Surf Busway and Bus Rapid Transit project. And Lisa, you'll give this, and your report is on page 49.
Yes, thank you, Chair and members of the board and members of the audience. This item is to receive an update on the project. Authorize the general manager, CEO to enter into a contract with Granite Rock Myers to purchase Build America, Buy America compliant steel soldier pile beams for retaining walls in an amount not to exceed $1,027,024, and to adopt a resolution committing MST local general fund capital reserve funds for construction under a letter of no prejudice request to advance the project. So first off, I'd like to correct a typo on the memo on the fiscal impact, 89.1 million. I apologize, it's 91.5 million. And that's what I'd like to talk about first is the construction cost increases that we've seen due to changes in scope from the 65% design milestone to the 95% design milestone, largely related to both the construction cost index increasing in California, and certainly in our region, we've seen other projects, construction projects come in higher than what the engineer's estimate has been. We've also had scope changes that relate to stormwater control plans, and that is reflective in a 95% design level versus a 65% because of the grading needed for the project. We need to know what that's going to entail to be able to adequately address stormwater control issues. So that largely explains the construction increases that you will note on the attachment 1 project update. So I've largely explained where the project is at, but there is some good news. The Marina Planning Commission last week approved a tree removal permit and a coastal development permit for the 0.37 acres within the City of Marina's local coastal program. And the tree removal permit includes removing 92 trees that are mostly in fair or poor condition. Many of them are invasive trees and have mostly reached the end of their natural life cycle anyway. So we're replacing them at a 2-to-1 ratio with more native plants, more native trees, and at a higher level. So we'll be physically replacing 123 trees on the project, and the remainder will be in lieu fees for the City of Marina to decide where they want to plant the trees in their development plans. So we also have many more permits to go through. Most of them are administrative permits, grading permits, encroachment permits, that kind of thing. But we also have a coastal development permit to get from the California Coastal Commission. And at this point, we've answered all of their questions, and we do not anticipate it going to the Coastal Commission later than September for an approval. We also have a Caltrans encroachment permit that we're working to receive as well. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to bring up is the letter of no prejudice request. So in order to get a letter of no prejudice from the California Transportation Commission to keep moving the project forward, we are able to use local funds first and then get reimbursed once the allocation is actually made at the California Transportation Commission. So that's what we're seeking is a use of capital reserves while we work towards getting that California Transportation Commission authorization, which will then pay back those capital reserves that we'd used initially. So there have also been questions about future rail and saving the railroad tracks, and that the SURF busway and bus rapid transit project would preclude that in the future. However, that is not the case. I talked about that at the last meeting. And I invited Blake Silkwood, who is on our design team. And I wanted to bring him up and answer some technical questions about the rail and how our surf busway does not preclude future rail when it becomes viable for this community. Blake, do you mind coming up to the podium? So would you mind answering a couple questions for the board that I think is important for both the board to understand as well as the audience?
Of course.
Condition of the existing tracks, what would be needed to upgrade and bring rail back to Monterey County in terms of just the actual engineering side of it?
Mhm.
If you could talk about cost per mile that you're seeing in other rail projects across the state or nation. So condition of the tracks first. What did you find out there?
We did go out and analyze the existing trackway for the portion where the surf alignment is going to be going. Generally, we found that the tracks are in very, very poor condition. They have not been maintained for many, many years. They were, built, last century or even the prior century. And so they are generally in very poor condition, given the lack of maintenance and erosion and lack of drainage that's occurred over the last 50 years.
And then so do the tracks meet existing standards for rail to come back to Monterey?
Short answer is they do not. Generally, they probably supported previous operations of about 10 miles an hour when the old Southern Pacific Railroad was here. But they would not meet current FTA standards for a new commuter rail or light rail, a new system being built.
So would they have to be completely replaced for future rail? And could that happen within the corridor that we're looking at?
Generally, yes, there's very little that could be salvaged for a future rail operation. The ballast is in very poor condition. The ties are falling apart. The rails do not meet current standards. And so, yes, any design for future rail would include a new rail materials being put down. However, given the width of the alignment and where we situated the surf busway, the two are compatible. There's enough width, and where we situated generally on the east side of the alignment, there is enough room there to install a future rail and generally have the surf busway remain in operation.
I guess, and then one last question in terms of what you're seeing for costs for rail projects and other places that you design rail.
Of course. So just generally as a rule, building rail is much more expensive than a BRT project of this nature, like perhaps a whole order of magnitude. Anywhere from tens to hundreds of millions of dollars per mile of this, depending on a whole host of site-specific factors. But yes, much more expensive than current projects before you today.
I didn't mean this to be an interrogation for.
Oh,
Blake
okay.
here.
Of course not.
But Blake has been working on our surf busway and bus rapid transit project for many years now. We've had long conversations about making sure that our design does not preclude rail in the future. And that seems to be a topic of conversation that I wanted to address here with this board. And thanks for for being a witness.
Of course.
Okay. Thank you, Blake. And we may have a couple of director comments
Sure.
or questions. Go ahead, Joe.
So that maybe this will be to you, or I'm sure I have the answer already, but if for example, you were to build a rail along there, you would need a California coastal permit, correct? On that?
I see no reason why it would be any different than the current process we're going through.
Okay.
Just a quick comment. So, we have identified in the plan where there are portions where we'll cross over and have to remove that rail. And because of the age of it and when it was first established, I would ask that we also consider reclamation of some of that rail, at least the nails, the ties, whatever those are called. They're
Rail
pushed in
ties.
I collected them when I was young. We'd always but those are significantly old, and it would be neat if we could at least, if there's somebody who would want to take those portions of it and sell it on their own. Any of the reclamation, construction reclamation companies may want to do that. Just keep that in mind. Thank you.
Mr. Lake?
Yeah, my question goes to the planning commission on the tree removal permit. Do you anticipate that will be appealed, or has that time expired yet?
The time has not expired. It's 10 days, and that would put us at April 22nd. I don't know.
And then just a comment on the rail, because our neighboring county, Santa Cruz, is going through, they're doing the same things, old rail. The trestles are in pretty bad shape, but they're phasing their project, the regional Santa Cruz County Regional Transportation Commission is phasing it to try to bring passenger rail from, I think, Aptos to Santa Cruz first before extending it to Watsonville. But they are in that process to not only provide either hydrogen or electric light rail service, but also including the trails next to it, so that it can also accommodate bicycles and pedestrians. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you. Are there any other director comments or questions? Seeing none, thank you for your presentation. And I will go ahead and at this time open this up to public comment. So public comment is open. I do see a hands, I don't know if it's still up from last time, with the phone number 2837 and ending in 2837. Is that a new hand?
Yeah.
Please. Okay.
Hi,
Hello.
can you hear? Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, Brian Rosen here. I think you're putting the cart before the horse, perhaps, because the Coastal Commission hasn't even approved the project, and to make a request for a no prejudice so you can be reimbursed later. I'm reading from some of the Coastal Commission analysis right here. The current project cannot be found consistent with the Coastal Act or with the applicable LCPs. That was ISMND. And it also recommended an EIR as the most appropriate path forward. And we expect a comprehensive evaluation of a reasonable range of alternatives, including HOV and including rail. So then I read on the presentation of MST that all the Coastal Commission alternatives are suggested are even more environmentally destructive, but that's not the case. I spoke with Coastal Commission staff, and there's the no project alternative. That's not more environmentally destructive. The rail line is already there, and it doesn't involve the removal of all these beautiful trees. You know, and the converting one lane to a HOV lane, like in Santa Rosa, doesn't involve as much damage. So I don't think that's a true statement. The ISMND said no tracks would be removed. And the point is, if there is room for both, I don't know how much we're going to trust MST. It mentions all the hearings that have been held, constantly the public being told that the rail tracks would be preserved, and now that's not the case. We're told 0.78 miles, approximately 0.83 miles will be removed, 400,400 linear feet. So we don't know what to believe. And if they have to be covered up, what does that mean? Does that mean grade crossings, which are highly undesirable? Does it mean it has to be realigned? It is the best alignment for rail. The CTC gave the funds in 2003 for the purpose of intercity rail, not for a busway. And to make to not have the best route for rail should have priority. I worked hard collecting signatures on that initiative, and I don't think we should lose the best alignment for rail and have to do a very expensive rerouting. And maybe it's obviously a lot more environmentally feasible to have a narrow train route. The ballast is still there for the most part underneath. Obviously the tracks, I don't know why people make so much about the tracks. That's not the deal. The point is the rail has the connectivity and will do much more effectively than reducing a bus route by 11 minutes during rush hours, and it won't involve these beautiful sacred trees. I'm not native either, but I want to live. My ancestors came from Europe,
Mr.
And
Rose,
I just think,
time is up. Thank you.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Public comment is still open. Not seeing anyone online. Is there any public comment in the boardroom? Not seeing any. We'll go ahead and close public comment and we'll bring it back to the board. There is a recommendation to receive the update on the surf busway and bus rapid transit project to authorize the general manager to enter into a contract with Granite Rock Myers to purchase Build America and with an amount not to exceed $1,027,024, I
So-
believe. And the adoption of the resolution in the board packet. We do have a motion and I second. All those in favor?
No.
But I had a question as well.
Oh, okay, we'll open it up to.
We keep hearing a lot about this the alignment portion of it. And just clarification, we just heard from one of the engineers that the alignment is not going to be affected. Correct? I mean,
Correct. Scott, would you pull up that item that I asked you to have at the ready, please? So we've have this exhibit here and you can see the rail line is center. The busway is on the left or the right-hand side with a whole bunch of empty space available for rail in the future. So that's generally what the alignment shows.
And that's all I wanted clarification on, because I think we've all heard that it's something that somehow is in the public, but it's not true. And it does need to be corrected before, as we move forward. There is nothing that is going to prohibit future rail along that alignment in connections, just how Supervisor Alejo talked with the Santa Cruz connection eventually.
We have a standing meeting with our team every 2 weeks, which includes the Transportation Agency for Monterey County, our designers, MST staff, where we've deliberately been very aware of the not precluding future rail. We didn't want to make that option in 20, 25 years, whatever it is, not available for folks. It won't be us. Well, it won't be me anyway. I plan on retiring well before 25 years, but you know, we didn't want to preclude that. We didn't want to tie their hands in the future and say, now you can't do rail because we're putting in bus. The reality is bus rapid transit is a necessary precursor to successful rail in the future. What we're doing with the SURF project is building up that demand that will make future rail more feasible and viable for our community.
Okay, so that is on the record. So I'm gonna go to Jeff, but I did want to comment. Why is it that the public is not seeing this? Are we not getting the message out?
I think if I'll put my personal opinion on it, that you can see the rail tracks right there in the middle at the moment, and to move them out, even though that rail would have to be completely removed and reconstructed for light rail. The ties out there are creosote wood ties that are undermined by all this weather and erosion, etc. Those are all now concrete ties for rail. And I'm speaking because I've talked with our engineers about what it takes to put in rail. And Blake can certainly chime in if he hears something that's contrary to what I understand. He's given me the thumbs up. Okay, good. I think it's just because the rail is there right now, but it's like saying, okay, well, I want to keep my 8-track because I want to play an MP3 right now. The 8-track is no longer, it's obsolete. The rail there is obsolete. We have new technologies, we have new safety mechanisms. I would say that it's a perception that if you keep those rail lines there, that you're gonna preserve that option in the future. But they're gonna have to be taken out anyway, so, I don't know.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm going to, see, Director Barron, did you have the comment?
Yeah, I had expressed some concerns about the timing of the Coastal Commission permit and its interaction with the timing of this project in general. And so I did that all between 9 and 10. So I don't really need to do that again, but well, it's an hour later and I'm still concerned. So I just put that on the record. Thank you.
And any other directors? If not, we do have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Again, may I ask who made the second motion? I didn't hear.
We have Director Alejo was the first and the second was that
I think Dave
It was Director
Dave.
Pacheco.
Director Pacheco.
Director
Thank you.
Pacheco. Thank you. And with that, motion carries. We'll move on to the next item. This is 5.2, and this is to authorize the chair to appoint an ad hoc nominating committee to nominate for year 2025-26 board officers and staff appointments, and to identify volunteers for this committee. And with that, Lisa, this would be you.
Okay, so the bylaws of MST call for the board to establish an ad hoc committee as may be deemed necessary. So that's what the board would do. For the chairship and the vice chairship for this coming 2 years, starting July 1st. And then the chair would then appoint the individuals to the nominating committee. She shared with, Carl shared with me that she would like to appoint herself, Kim Shirley, and Lorraine Worthy to the nominating committee. So the board's responsibility, of course, then would be to just establish the nominating committee.
Okay, so with that, we have two people who have been identified for the nominating committee. So do we need a motion on that or?
I do have a couple clarifying questions.
Okay, Mike?
So Kim, you're with
Del Rose.
Delray, okay. So this year, our normal cycle is back and forth, right? And I would imagine, just to clarify, coming in, whoever would come into the vice chair position would be someone, either a representative from the county, Salinas, or one of the Salinas Valley cities, correct?
Yes,
That was it.
okay.
Madam Chair, you do need a motion to establish, to authorize the ad hoc committee.
Yes, so I'll go first to any other further director comments or questions. And if not, I will go ahead and ask for the motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And before I call for the vote, I'll open it up to the public. Public comment is open. And not seeing anyone from the public jumping up, we'll go ahead and close public comment. And we do have a motion and a second. We'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and we do have a committee, so thank you. And I believe it would be Anna will be contacting you. Okay. Okay, or she already has, okay. Okay, with that, we'll move on to item 5.3. And this is to approve the amendment to the employee-employer relations policy. And I believe Kelly has this staff report. Kelly?
Good morning, Board of Directors. Kelly Halkin, Director of Human Resources and Risk. On an annual basis, the executive leadership team evaluates and reviews policies that have been approved by your board to ensure and to make sure that they're still applicable and that they're still needed within the agency. The attached policy that is included with this board memo was last updated in May of 2017. What you will find as the amendments are wording to update as far as his and her have been changed to their, and the titles within the confidential unit. Some titles have been changed and some titles have, people have been promoted or their positions were newly created. And so it seemed that we needed to include those within the confidential unit. Confidential unit is a branch, one of the employee groups that they actually piggyback on the MST MOU, but they are technically non-represented and they're privy to closed session information that's discussed. So this group of employees are actually separated out from the employee association and the union. If there's any questions regarding amending this policy, I'm here for your purview.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. At this time, directors, are there any questions or to Kelly or
Kelly,
concerns? Yes, Kim.
thank you for your presentation. So I'm assuming that her was just trying to make things more gender neutral,
That is correct.
which is great. I'm super supportive of that. On page 71, you also have a he, she that's still listed and you didn't change that. I'm wondering if that was on purpose.
No, it's probably just an oversight of the replacement function within Word.
Okay.
So I will go back and check that and make that notation.
Okay, great.
Okay. Thank you. And are there any other directors' comments or clarifications or changes? Not seeing any. I'll gonna go ahead and open this up to public comment. The public comment is open, and thank you, Kelly, for your presentation. And not seeing any, we'll go ahead and close public comment. And before you, there is a recommendation to for the amendment of the employer relations policy. And with that, I'm looking for a motion. We have a motion. Mr. Amelia, and then Mr. Pacheco. Second that. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any noes? Okay, and motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. And with that, we'll go ahead and move on to, let's see, recognitions and special presentations. And we have item 6.1, the April 2024 Employee of the Month. And Frank is going to give us a little, he will be presenting.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Madam Chair, Board. Marzette Henderson, Transportation Manager with MST. I'm stepping in for Frank Marcos, who's away at a transportation conference this week. We are here to recognize maintenance mechanic. Well, it's my pleasure to recognize maintenance mechanic Noe Figueroa, who began his career for April 2024 Employee of the Year. Noe began his career as an MST entry-level mechanic in March 2015. Over his 9-year career, Noe distinguished himself through his dedication, quickly acquiring skills in diesel mechanics. Through hard work and commitment, he rose to the position of A-level mechanic, where he not only excels in his duties, but also takes on the responsibility of training new mechanics, playing a crucial role in fully staffing our maintenance department. Noe's supervisors praise him as a self-starter, highly motivated, and exceptionally talented individual who serves as a role model for his peers. His recognition as the Employee of the Month, April 2024, is a testament to his outstanding performance, dedication, and contributions to MST's mission. Please join me in recognizing and congratulating maintenance mechanic Noe Figueroa for his outstanding performance and dedication towards the success of MST and its mission. Unfortunately, no, he couldn't join us this morning. He's a night shift mechanic, so. So,
sleeping.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, and we're really happy that he is receiving this award. As an employee
Thank you.
of that.
He's being recognized as he sleeps.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, and with that, we don't need to, shall I open this up for any public? No, we don't need to go there, okay. Well, with that, do we want to maybe perhaps have Noe come to another, well, I guess another meeting, he'd be sleeping still.
Well, I can reach out and see if he'd be willing to
If
join us
you
in the
would like
future.
to,
Yes.
we'd like to give him an official congratulations.
Maybe the board of directors could meet his schedule.
Yeah, maybe we could surprise them. Yeah, send a rep. Okay, with that, we will move on to the next item 6.2, and this is a 35-year service anniversary of Ronaldo Hernandez, and he is coach operator. Where's that?
Yes, it's me again. Again, Ronaldo wasn't able to join us. He is he's working later today, and he preferred to get his rest before his shift today. But I'm still honored to recognize coach operator Ronaldo Hernandez for his 35 years of service, which he has performed with dedication and professionalism. Ronaldo's commitment to his profession has earned him numerous accolades, including 28 safe driving awards, 17 attendance awards, and a dozen other awards and recognitions for his customer service and other commendations. He's also a 4-time Employee of the Month and was also recognized for Employee of the Year in 2019. Ronaldo's contributions to MST and the community we serve are truly commendable. Again, unfortunately, he couldn't join us, but he wanted me to express on his behalf his appreciation for the recognition and his career with MST. Please join me in recognizing Ronaldo for his 35 years of service.
Thank you, Marzette. And with that, sorry that he's not able to be here, but our congratulations from the board. With that, we will go ahead and move on to item 6.3, the 25-year service anniversary of Abner Tobias.
Yes.
Coach operator.
So I have 1 for 3. I was able to bring one in.
Oh, nice. Oh, welcome.
So we are here today to recognize and celebrate career milestone for coach operator Abner Tobias. For we known around here as Toby for 25 years dedicated to MST. Before joining MST, Toby was with the U.S. Postal Service 25 years ago. He tells me he was a dog whisperer, a good dog whisperer as well. But he traded dogs for people when he joined MST. Since joining, Toby has won a dozen safe driving awards and numerous other commendations for attendance, outstanding customer service, and coming to the aid of our passengers, and has also been recognized over the years for distinguished service as a line instructor and supported training. In summary, Toby's career has touched many lives here at MST, and we commend him for his outstanding service and impact to MST and the community. Please join me in recognizing and congratulating Toby for his 25 years of service. Would you like to share a word?
Sure, just good afternoon, MC board. Thank you for this opportunity to make a speech. I've been here for 25 years exactly. I used to work for the post office many moons ago, but there was one that I wanted to ask and wanted to say, if it wasn't for Frank Tasiski, who I talked to before, I would actually, he would come to me and tell me, hey, Toby, so how's your training now? I said, very good, but right now it's kind of up in the air because, I'm a good driver, but yet again, I don't know the routes. So you'll get there, don't worry. But he just told me that you are the eyes and the ears of the MST. What we see is what you hear, like that. And I said, wow, okay. So to make a little story short, I didn't really get what he was saying, but yet again, I continue on my route, all right? And then there was an incident that happened, I wanted to share with you. It's about, I was doing the inbound 16 at a bus stop where I had a time point. Time point was 3 minutes. Within that 3 minutes, I was outside by the bus stop, and I was walking around, and all of a sudden I saw a little girl behind the corner of the bus stop. I said, why is the little girl here by the bus stop inside? And I was wandering around, and then I said to her, hi. He goes, do you know who I am? He goes, yeah, you're MST, Modern Students Transit. Oh, very good. So what are you doing here? He goes, well, I'm here waiting for the bus stop. I'm waiting here for the bus. And she goes, and then she looked at me kind of like, okay, why is he asking me this kind of questions, right? And he goes, so who's with you? Like that. Just myself. He goes, yes. So who dropped you off here like that? By yourself? He goes, my mom did. Okay. So right there, I was kind of getting worried about her. So I called my dispatch, said, hey, I got this little girl who is about 6 years old, and she's by herself. And I told her, he goes, I'm gonna stay with you here until somebody comes over here, maybe a police officer or one of our employees, supervisor, MST, who is no longer here now. So I waited for them about 20 minutes, and I didn't really care within that 20-minute gap if I was late or not. You know, I just wanted her to become safe. So when I waited for 20 minutes, my supervisor came in, but she's no longer here. But I like to commend her, you know, for staying with her for some time when I left. And I was kind of like really bothered by it, but yet again, now I get what Frank is saying. You know, I was the eyes and ear of MST, and what they don't see is they hear from me, right? So it was a good opportunity for me to say, okay, I want to thank Frank Nowicki. He's no longer with us, but he was a great man, a great CEO, and opportunity like him, you know, it goes a long way. But I'd like to thank MST and the MST board, and I thank for human resources, my MST employees, bunch of great employees I got, you know. So I just like to know, but thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. All right, we're gonna take a photo.
Okay, MST. All right, thank you. Congratulations.
MST. Good coffee. You gotta promote MST coffee. It's good.
Okay. With that, we will move on to item 6.4, and this is MST Navigator Volunteer Recognition. And Kelly, would you like to introduce or to let us know who our navigators are?
Oh, sure. Well, good morning, MST board, MST staff, and members of the public. My name is Kelly Soriano. I'm a mobility specialist for MST. I oversee the Navigator program. And is it okay if I just read the little presentation? Okay. April is National Volunteer Week, and we want to recognize our volunteers for their dedication to the mobility department. Our navigators host table events at senior centers and inform seniors, veterans, and people with disabilities the options they have to get to their most traveled destinations. As commuters themselves, they assist our riders with travel challenges and provide them with important resources such as the transit app or real time to help them plan their trips and help them become more independent. They also provide feedback on MST services and they are currently using. And we use this feedback to improve our services such as rides and the taxi services. We currently have 6 volunteers who are active. But today we do have Dennis Lucci present, Christopher Renzulo and Juvenal Solorio. So they're currently here today. And so I don't know, do you want me to do the pin or?
Yes, at first I would like to ask if any directors had any words. I know that we looked at this, we heard about navigators at a conference that we went to a while back, and I'm just so happy that we have them. You know, I believe Lorraine, you maybe were at that conference with me?
Yes.
And that MST is took this direction to have navigators. So with that, yes, any directors?
Madam Chair, maybe some of these volunteers would like to say something. maybe.
Yes, we're gonna have that, have them come up
Yes.
and receive their pin.
Hello, members of the board, members of the public. My name is Christopher Renzulo. I've been an MST navigator for nearly a year now. I just wanted to share briefly what a positive difference this program has made in my life. I have 2 things that I'm very passionate about: helping people and public transit. I have over 20 years experience riding public transit. I saw the Navigator flyer at the bus stop shop in Monterey back around May of last year. And I immediately applied and was accepted to the program. I got some excellent training, thank you. And over time, I've been able to progress into more and more responsibility. And it's been a very, very beneficial for my own well-being and gives me a sense of drive and purpose to be able to contribute to my community. Thank you very much. Yes.
Hello again. My name is Dennis Lucy, and I've been a navigator for, well, since before COVID. Erin was the director at that time, and she also did wonderful training, but I've gotten a lot of great support from Kelly over the past year and a half. And the reason I became a navigator was I had an accident that suddenly totaled my car, and I decided not to get a new car. And then I had another accident that made me blind in one eye, and so I decided I shouldn't drive. And so that, what do you call it? That need to switch to public transportation that seniors often know is out there somewhere. I get that when I go to senior centers, and they say, I drive now, but I want to know more about transit because you just don't know when you're not going to be able to drive anymore. And so that moment came upon me, and I just found MST so helpful, and that they had so much going for mobility for people. And I'm having a hard time getting around with bad feet and that. The person I first connected with was Kevin Alshouse, and he was really helpful. He was in the mobility department at that point, and he was really helpful to me. And so I decided I wanted to give back and volunteer to go out and do all the things that navigators do. Anyway, so that's my story. Just to give back because I've received so much good from MST, and I really think you do have a lot going for mobility. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like to say something? ¿Le gustaría decir algo, Juvenal?
Yeah. Well, thank you for inviting me in here. I like to work with MST because it is a very good team and I enjoy with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Did you want to take a picture of it? See, or
With all of them together?
would you like to take a picture all together? If you could come up, it'd be wonderful, and me and Lisa will.
think it would be better if you guys went back.
Or, yeah, either way.
We're mobile. It might be a little bit more difficult to come up to the front.
We are very mobile.
I just never seen him.
So we will move on to item 6.5, and this is to receive Government Finance Officer Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Finance and Reporting. Lisa?
Yes, thank you. I was searching in the back there in the audience for Andrea Williams, who is our finance manager. And there we go. Thank you. So this is our 22nd year of receiving the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. It's very heavy. So it must mean a lot. But it's a testament to Andrea and her team's reporting on the audit and our budget. I mean, they just do a fantastic job in making MST transparent so people can understand where money is coming and going, and all available on our website. So this will go in Andrea's room with all the other plaques that are weighing down her walls.
Thank you. Are there any directors who would like to say anything?
Well, Madam Chair, because I do see these pictures on Facebook, I think it'd be awesome, that's huge. Transparency is big, so maybe, you
All right,
could.
let's do it.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. I love social media.
Let's give a round of applause.
What a white envelope.
Without her, there would be no MST.
There you go.
And 1, 2, 3, 4 more. Thank you.
I want to take a picture. I want to take a picture with Mr. Barron before I leave.
No problem. Okay. Okay. With that, we'll move on to reports and information items. And Lisa, will you give us the February report?
Yeah, sure. Briefly, in February, we're showing ridership increases by 23.2% higher than the previous February. So things continue to improve for ridership on with our passengers. So it's a testament to all the great work that all departments do within MST. Again, I said Carl's down at the Transit Transformation Task Force. He has some items that he visited, some folks he visited in February, but both Carl, myself, and Michelle Overmeyer, our planning director, were in Washington, D.C. last week. And we were able to meet with our representatives. Zoe Lofgren, of course, Alex Padilla's staff is very excited about getting the project, our SURF project underway, and getting that capital investment grant money squared away at the end of the year, which is where we have it scheduled. And it was a very interesting meeting, unique like none other that I've ever had with Washington DC staff, because it was timed right for this solar eclipse. So we took the meeting outside, and unlike most days when people are staring down at their phones, everyone was looking up at the sun. So it was a very, it was a good meeting despite the distractions of the eclipse and everything. But we had a nice time in Washington DC meeting with our representatives and advocating for MST projects. That's okay. Yeah, so it wasn't the total solar eclipse, it was about to 80%. So you have to have the special glasses, and Michelle, being a planner, she plans things out, brought us special glasses, and we were able to share them amongst the folks around us. So, yeah, it was fun.
Memorable.
Indeed. That's all I have on that.
Okay. Any questions from the board or no?
Just a remark, I loved seeing, and you can see the open positions.
Oh, yeah.
And no more room for bus drivers. I thought we all knew, but to see it.
You can thank Kelly over there. She's done a phenomenal job in
Beautiful.
bringing this back.
Okay, we'll move on to federal legislative
It's
reports.
It's in your packet. If you have any questions, happy to answer them.
Okay, any questions? Not seeing any. We'll move on to the state report. These are all in your packet and don't require any action by the board. But if there's any questions at this time on any of those items. Not seeing any. We'll move on to board reports, comments and referrals. By meetings attended by board members at MST expense. I know I don't go anywhere. Okay. We'll move on to board member comments and announcements. Anyone?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yes, there was a person that called during public comment, and for some reason she felt someone was not getting back to her, and I'm just going back on what she was saying. I forget her name, but if we could just follow through, make sure that we.
Lorna Moffett.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, she just said somebody's not returning her call or message. So I just wanted to follow through on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And and if I can, I believe that was the Monterey rep that she was had referred to. So if we could pass that on to the Monterey rep.
Thank you.
Ed Smith. Okay, and any others? And not seeing any others, we'll go to board member referrals for future agendas. Not seeing any. Detail, then we'll go to detailed monthly performance statistics. And if there's no questions. Not seeing any, we'll go ahead and move on to the last item, and this is item 10, closed session. And with this item, we will be going into closed session at the conference with labor negotiators, government code 54957.6, MSTEA, and MST Kelly Alcorn will be in this meeting. At this time, I'll like to go ahead and open it up for any public comments before we go into closed session. And not seeing any online or in the room, we'll go ahead and I'll close public comments, and we will go ahead and move into closed session, and we will excuse the public at this time. We will be meeting in the conference room. And we will be back to and to report out anything of the closed session.
You brought this out to you. I'm supposed to be involved on behalf regarding sustainable seaside day.
Maybe Michelle or?
They have their day event.
The general consensus, it's just, they're noting.
Back to the agenda.
Still here.
Okay. So we're moving on to, that we're back in open session from closed session, and I would like to ask our counselor if he can report out for us what happened in closed session.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The board did meet in closed session under one item for a conference with labor negotiators under Government Code Section 54957.6 regarding the MSTEA and MST MOU. They did meet, have a robust conversation, but there's no, and provided general direction, but there is no reportable action at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, we will go ahead, I will go ahead and adjourn this meeting until the next scheduled meeting is May 13th at 10 o'clock. Yeah, we have to go. Okay.
Carl, who?
Yeah.